Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good morning, traders from each and every part of the world that you're joining this series of the Daily Morning Market Call from. My name is Kefa Eric, one of the market analysts here at HFM. HFM linking you to the global market to assess various financial assets. Now, today being on the 23rd day of the 4th month of 2025, we are experiencing market shifts. We are experiencing micro and macroeconomics, fundamental analysis, which we have defined as economic and geopolitical forces, having a touch in market direction. And in regards to this, today we still have Mr. Shane Mwangangi to come and help us understand this particular dynamics. We might all agree he has been quite helpful, he has been quite insightful, and I'm really eager to learn what he has for us today. Good morning, Mr. Shane.
Good morning, Mr. Kefa. Thank you again for inviting me in. Yes. Now, that's the sign of traders having a relief in the market.
Amazing.
So,
Amazing, Mr. Shane.
yes.
Amazing, Mr. Shane. I'm also having a relief in that particular regard, but before we dive right into those terms to understand the sign of relief from the traders, it is important I bring it to your attention that this is going to be a pre-recorded YouTube video, to mean that you could find this YouTube video at your own free and convenient time by visiting our YouTube channel at HFM Kenya. Kindly like, subscribe, and click on the notification button so that you're not left out in future content that we post from time to time. And it is our commitment to you as HFM that we are going to improve on our content to fill in the much needed educational gap in the financial markets. Let's dive right into it. Mr. Shane, what do you have in store for us today? What is happening? What are the fundamental and geopolitical forces moving the financial markets currently?
Yes, as I said, traders now have a relief in the market. Why is this so? You can see that the Fed, on the side of the Fed, pressure has decreased. And this is because Trump now is backing Jerome Powell. And because of this, the trade talks show a little bit of promise. And again, this is a sign of relief to us traders. Yes, thank you, Mr. Kefa.
Amazing. So if I got you quite right, Mr. Shane, you are alluding to the fact that yesterday we had the President of the United States, the 47th President, Donald John Trump, saying that he does not intend to fire Jerome Powell, so we have an easing of the market. Is that right, Mr. Shane?
That is right.
Amazing. So if that is the case, will that translate to mean the dollar will get a sign of relief and strengthen, slightly strengthen from that particular event, which will have market sentiment alter the direction that various financial assets are taken? Is that right, Mr. Shen?
That is true. We have a sign of optimism in the dollar.
Amazing. So let's dive into it. We begin with currencies, and we begin with major pairs, with the US dollar coming in second in the currency pair, or US dollar quote currencies. Euro USD yesterday printed from the daily time frame bearish candle. Prices attempting to print on the downside, but at the time of this recording we seems to have a slight resistance to that. But from those particular sentiments that Mr. Shane had included, it seems that the dollar strengthening is attempting to create retracement on this particular asset, for price to move to the downside. But as traders and investors, we will not be quick to get in for short position until we have these major lows being taken out for us to confirm the bias is changing from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. So we'll wait to for lows to be taken out, perhaps this particular low for us to attempt to get in for short position. If I go to GBP USD or AUD USD, just to have a sample test of how the market is approaching. We also see that AUD USD yesterday attempted to close with a bearish Marabuzu candle, but unsuccessfully did so. So price is attempting to print bullish in that particular regard. Like we have said in the case of Euro USD, we will wait for major lows to be taken out for us to confirm that bias based on major fundamental analysis moving the market in this particular regard. To have a feel of US dollar based currencies, let's look at USD JPY. We also see USD JPY closed with a bullish candle, and now it's printing bearish. So we would want to confirm that the sentiments by Donald Trump that he doesn't intend to fire Jerome Powell may have a bearish narrative on this particular asset, and in summary, the dollar seems to have strengthened slightly, but not until the fundamental analysis is in line with technical analysis to confirm this particular basis. And how will fundamental analysis be in line with technical analysis? When we see major lows being taken out on USD quote currencies, and major highs being taken out on USD based currencies. I guess patience is the key here. However, for scalpers and day traders, you on lower time frame, that is 5 or 15 minutes, some who go even much more deeper into the ocean might consider scalping throughout this particular fundamental analysis. However the case, remember to observe risk management. But before we proceed, Mr. Shane, tell us what is happening on stocks.
Thank you, Mr. Kepo. As you can see, the dollar is printing bullish, and this is a sign of relief again to traders. And the ease of uncertainty, has brought also bullish prints on the S&P 500, which we have seen it move plus 1.4% up. Also on the Dow Jones, you've seen it move up, and also lastly on the Nasdaq, we have seen it move up. But on the gold, we can see the gold, there's slightly bit of... Okay, before we move on to the gold, I'd like you to pass it to Mr. Kef. Thank you, Mr. Kef.
Thank you, Mr. Shen, for that. You almost got me excited when you spoke about the precious metal gold, but you hesitated to speak about gold before we look at stocks. You have put in summary that US stocks, S&P 500, Nasdaq or US 100, and Dow Jones, that US 30, seems to be having a sign of relief and printing bullish, actually opening with a gap to show the bullish pressure that is applying in this particular regard. And you have alluded to the optimism of investors and traders shying away now from the fear or uncertainties that was created before this strong stance by the United States president that he does not intend to fire Jerome Powell, and as it was alluded before. So quite convincing that is why we're having a bullish pressure, because now investors are getting back to that particular stocks, making the demand to increase, therefore printing bullish at the time of this recording. If you look at our charts on the daily time frame, we see that this is US 500 closed with a bullish candle, and if we check at other US stocks like Nasdaq, US 100, let me find it right here. We see price opened closed with a bullish yesterday and opened with a gap showing the bullish momentum. However, like it has been the case for swing traders and position traders, we might want to see the major highs being taken out for us to consider jumping in on long position. Remember, this gap, most 48% of the time, that is based on principles of chartered market technical analysis, it get filled, and for us to get in for long position, we might consider putting that in consideration therein. However, for scalpers and day traders, they may get short-term trades in this particular movement, especially when price attempts to fill in the gap, as we anticipate other fundamental analysis to keep giving us market direction. So, Mr. Shane, I heard you mention about gold. Get us excited, man.
Yes, thank you. Yes, as we all know, gold is backed. Gold is backed. Gold is paired with the dollar, and as long as you're going to see the dollar moving up, you're going to see the opposite on gold. And as you can see in the charts, gold has been moving down with a negative 1% so far. And what I'd advise investors and traders is have a risk on tone as you're trying to trade gold at the moment. Thank you.
Avoid saying advice, eh? Bro, yeah, they cannot hear us. Don't retract. Amazing, amazing. So remember, guys, I take Mr. Shane's perspective on movement of financial assets quite seriously, because remember he called it out for a bullish narrative from 31.93, and we saw gold attempting to touch the 3,500 price. This was all from the fundamental analysis, that is economic and geopolitical forces. And oh boy, we had quite a rally on that particular ride. Now, the sentiment seems to be changing as our analyst put it out there. He alludes that the United States dollar increasing in its value seems to be printing gold bearish, and that is why yesterday we closed with a bearish pin bar, and at the time of this recording, price is also keep on attempting to print bearish, moving on the downside. Quite exacting to see this narrative. The gold strengthening, the uncertainty is cooling off from the market, and gold attempting to print bearish. Before we get for short position, that is for swing traders and position traders, we would want to wait for price first to take out major lows, perhaps the 255, or to break below areas of interest, like it attempted to retest on the 31.93 for us to consider getting for short. And but for scalpers and the traders could ride this narrative on short-term trades, having in mind risk management is key. So in summary, Mr. Shane, what do you have to tell us as we conclude this series of the Daily Money Market Call?
Yes, the risk appetite in the market is now returning, and we're seeing traders now being more optimistic about trading the dollar-backed pairs and together with the commodities. And with that said, I'd like to say thank you for joining in, and thank you for having us on the Daily Morning Market Call.
Amazing, amazing. As a call to action, if this is your first time to get to interact with the financial markets, if this is your first time to have the jargons or some of the financial terminologies that you have heard myself or the great Dr. Sniper, Mr. Shane Mwangangi, speak about, the Prince of Fundamental Analysis speak about, don't worry. Just visit hfm.com, attempt to register for an account, go to your browser, search hfm.com, you will see register an account, fill in your personal details, and you will have our experts get in touch with you to help you establish an account until you get to the investment stage, for you now to practice and enjoy the volatility in the financial markets. And as a disclaimer, this by any chance is not financial advice. This is purely meant for educational purposes. Until tomorrow, the same place, the same time, to do things the same way that has proven consistently profitable. God bless you all and take care.